What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Soul Therapy, the podcast. I'm Daniel.
Daytona.
That's your boy Juan.
And today we're going to be talking about a diss battle between two labels in Dippin'Carls Records and LBNC Records, and how it began from one veteran K-hip-hop artist named Outsider. We'll be focusing on the idea of, is the style of fast rap indeed outdated? Also, what do we think of this diss battle overall? And also a quick reminder on behalf of Soul Therapy and Soul Therapy, the podcast, I just want to say thank you to everyone for the outpouring love and support, because now, rather than putting out an episode every month, we will be putting out an episode every 2 weeks. So once again, thank you so much for the support. And as always, if you enjoyed today's episode, please go and subscribe to our podcast on all streaming platforms. And for more amazing contents, please go and follow us on all socials at Soul, SCOUL_therapy. So before we dive into our conversation, for those who aren't familiar with Dippin'Carls Records, LBNC Records, and Outsider, here's a brief introduction to their labels, brief intro to Outsider, who is the main focus of the diss battle, and the background story that led to the diss battle. So Dippin'Carls Records is a newly K-hip-hop label founded by Brown Tigger in 2020. The label currently has 3 other members in Gwangil, Walo, and Yonge JAundice. LBNC Records is an already established K-hip-hop label founded by Chaboom, a legend in the K-hip-hop underground scene, in 2017. The label includes 7 other members in Kaogai, who recently participated in Show Me the Money 9, Kitsyoji, who also participated in Show Me the Money 9, Ibido, Margin Choi, OI, Wonjang, and Yo Boy. And also, for those who aren't familiar with Outsider, he is known to be the fastest K-hip-hop artist in Korea, with his most popular song, Loner. So basically, long story short, the way this diss battle became escalated was when Outsider participated on Dingo Killing Verse. And for those that aren't familiar with Dingo Killing Verse, it is a platform on YouTube where different K-hip-hop artists perform a medley of their songs. After Outsider had performed, Kaogai called out Outsider just to say that fast rap has no rhythm. And after making those comments, Kaogai created a diss track, and ultimately it created this chain reaction where Gwangil Jo from Dippin'Carls responded back with his diss track called Kitsyoji, and Kitsyoji from LBNC created a diss track toward Gwangil Jo called Just Do It. And finally, Outsider responded lastly with his diss track called Old Dog. So my first question to kickstart this conversation is, what do you make of this diss battle overall from the musical standpoint?
For a little bit clarification, what Kaogai said was not necessarily that fast rap was bad or that fast rap has a rhythm. But what he said was that Outsider's particular kind of fast rap has no rhythm. Like that distinction is kind of important. Like he said that there are great fast raps. There are good fast raps in the hip hop sphere. It's just that Outsider's fast rapping is terrible. You get what I mean? that kind of distinction is important.
It's like podcaster, so yeah.
Yeah, it's not like every chopper rapper is bad. It's more like he is not a good chopper rapper, is basically what he said.
I can see where you're going with that, but I think for me at least, when I used to listen to Outsider, I thought it was something new to Korea. Because in the United States, as you guys all know, Twista is one of the fastest rappers in the United States.
Yeah. And
hearing that kind of style in Korea from Outsider was very refreshing, but at the same time new. And I thought it was really cool from my perspective. And for Kaogai to say that his particular style has no rhythm or it's not cool or anything, it just seemed very underwhelming. And it was very disheartening to hear that from him. Just because he participated on Show Me the Money and he did well, and I was happy for him. But at the same time, for him to just call out Outsider like that, a veteran who's been in the game for a while, it kind of offsetted.
Yeah, I mean, so we're only talking in terms of music, right? Like, we're not talking about like the marketing aspect of it, but I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. Just strictly talking about the music. I mean, everyone has their own style, you know. Like whatever what Outsider does as well. Like yes, he's much faster than the other fast rappers, but at the same time, that is his own unique style, you know. And at the end of the day, not everyone's always gonna love your music. Like no matter what kind of music you do, someone's gonna hate it, someone's gonna love it. I think it's just like a matter of an opinion, you know. But like Daniel said, Outsider is one of the OGs, and you know that's his own unique style, and a lot of people actually like it. So for Kitsyoji or the other guys to call him out like that, it's just their personal opinion. Yeah.
Let me provide a little bit of context here.
Okay.
There's a reason, I think, why so many rappers, especially in Korea, think that chopper twisted kind of chopper flow is not that amazing. Like, if you think about when Outsider was a huge mainstream success, it was in the beginnings of the 2010s. I think it was like 2010 to 2011. And he was one of the first cases where people liked rap for the raps, not because of the melodic hooks, not because of who was featuring on the track, but because of the rapper itself, right? I see Outsider as kind of the first case of being that. And that should be commendable. That is a very respectable achievement. But the problem is, ever since that Outsider success happened, people outside of hip hop, not people who are actually manias of what hip hop culture is, but just the general masses. The standard has been that how fast can you rap, motherfucker? You know what I mean? Every time a new rapper comes out, man, you're slower than Outsider. Shut up, you can't rap. Like, ever since Outsider had that kind of, the general public kind of thought that the faster your rapping is, the better rapper you are.
And yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that's why so many rappers have a kind of trauma, kind of PTSD from Outsider. Not generally because Outsider is the better rapper, but because the masses took it entirely the wrong way and thought that all kind of rapping is whack unless it is fast. That's why like rappers like The Quiet have lyrics about like, just because you're rapping fast doesn't mean you're rapping good. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's a reason why hip hop kind of acts weird toward Outsider, and that was the context. And going into this battle,
But can you really blame that on him? I feel like people just took it that way. I don't think Outsider ever said my rap's the best because it's fast. Like, people just took it that way, and then now he's getting the blame for it, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that's where it kind of gets ugly.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't put that on Outsider, right? It's not his fault. The masses took it the wrong way, right?
Of course.
But with that in mind, I think this is still a rap game. This is about raps. This is about hip hop. And if you think a certain style is bad, I think rappers have a right to talk about it. And
of course,
if you hate a certain style, you could diss it. Do whatever you want. All I want is, if you're going to diss him, I wanted that diss track to be good, right?
Of
course.
Like, fuck the morals. Like, all the morals, all the politics aside. In my mind, the guy who raps better wins.
Right.
That's always the golden standard for me. This is about rap beefs. This is not about who did something right, who did something wrong. Especially when it comes to this is like this, because it is over my music is better than you. It's not like, you took my money, give it back. It's not that kind of personal stuff. It's about myself making better music than you, but somehow me being underappreciated. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you're making a good track, that's all I want. The tracks.
And when I heard Kaogai's diss track, I'll be completely honest, I thought it was pretty good. I actually thought it flowed. I thought it was great. Well.
Yeah.
And it actually it made a statement. And then once Outsider responded with his diss track at the end called Old Dog, I sensed a little change in that song. I can sense not only his fast rap, but him making his rhythms very on time.
More distinct.
It's more distinct, and you can see the changes from the diss track to his other tracks. I don't know if you can hear that when you go back and listen to Old Dog, but
I definitely know what you're talking about. One of the biggest critiques about Outsider was that he's rapping fast because he's trying to conceal the fact he's not a great lyricist.
Mm.
Do you think that's
Like
true?
in a sense, if you look at Outsider discography, of course, when it comes to actual sentences, I think people have their own tastes. But one thing you can't take away from the critiques is that he was not the best person to put together rhyme schemes. Rhyme schemes were never a strong suit for Outsider, and fast rapping kind of concealed that. There were way many better rappers when it comes to constructing rhyme schemes, and it kind of showed in this too. Like Kaogai and Kitsyojii were better rhymers. Is what I'm saying. When it comes to rhyme construction, they kind of washed Outsider out of the park. And still, that being said, the old Dog diss track that Daniel was talking about, he definitely tried to rhyme better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
He knew that he was. Yeah,
he felt the pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, he felt the pressure. He knew he was going to get this for not making better rhymes again. So I think he tried a bit more when it comes to rhyme construction.
Of course.
So I think overall about this thing, at least Outsider, I really thought Outsider's track was going to be bad. I thought it was going to be terrible.
No one expected much. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I have to agree with that.
The very fact that he kind of hit back was enough, but he did not the best job. But I guess he didn't. He wasn't embarrassing himself, is what I'm saying. And that's definitely something to be commended about. Like, dude didn't put out music for like 5 years or something.
Yeah, it's been a while since he dropped something.
Yeah, I mean, at least he can still rap. That's what I'm saying. He can still rap.
Then, what did you make of Gwangil's diss track?
I thought it was great, actually. Yeah, I liked it.
Now, that diss track was towards Kaogai or Kitsyoji, or was it towards both?
Really both.
Kind of,
because I was getting
kind of both, but the focus was definitely on Kitsyoji. But I mean, this was basically like between two cliques. This was between LBNC and Dippin'Carls in general. So I guess bullets for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Going to Kitsyojji's diss track, man, I'll be honest, I thought it was horrible.
Kitsyoji's track was terrible to you?
To me,
yeah.
Just the production wise, it just felt very childish. It didn't, and I know.
Oh, the second one.
Yeah,
the second where he was like the whiting one.
No, the other one. Just do it.
The first one.
Yeah.
You think the first one had childish production?
Wait, sorry. Whiting.
Yeah, the comeback.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I get what you're talking about. Yeah, go on.
I mean, look, I understand you're making a response, but come on, man. You did so much better on the first diss track, but come on, dude. It just felt very childish, and I thought he could have closed it way better, because I know he has the potential and I know he has the skills to do it.
Yeah.
But overall, it just felt very childish, and it just, to me, it didn't work. I don't know about you guys.
At the end of the day, I also agree with Daniel in that part. So I want to know if you have like a different opinion.
My first response to that, the second track was like, "What?" Like,
exactly.
Why is this lead melody so fucking bright? Like, why am I suddenly listening to a Kids Bop commercial?
Oh man.
Yeah, it was like, that being said, though, I wish he was more serious, because the first track where he was serious, like, he was going in. Like, the first track where he was really going in. You know what I mean? Like, he was rapping. Like, the schemes were great, the lines were great. Even like the lines were funny but still potent in the first one. But the second was solely comedy focused.
Yeah.
I mean, the lines were still hilarious. The lines on that is hilarious, but it's just like, if he started this way, if he started this in this direction of kind of making fun of him, I think it would have made sense. But he started out serious, but the comeback being suddenly funny, it's like there's no sense of direction for me, because the first track sounded like he was actually angry. He was angry for a reason, and he was coming at it from an angle where he's kind of doing it for the culture. And I think he still did it for the culture in a sense, but the second track made it feel like he didn't care that much. You know what I mean?
And yeah,
Mm.
and I know a former member from Outsider's label, the
Mm.
female rapper Timey.
Yeah.
I know she also made a comment saying, or she was siding with Kaogai that you need to make a
Outsider.
comeback. You need to make
Yeah.
a comeback with the diss track, but
Outsider.
like, what are you doing?
Like, all right, we're going into some rumor territory here, but for the context, Outsider has very many enemies in the hip hop scene. Not because he was popular. That doesn't have anything to do with it. Him being popular is more about how it made the masses look at hip hop the wrong way. That's a completely different question. The reason Outsider has so many enemies within the hip hop scene is because he did skive off a lot. He kind of ripped money off of a lot of rappers.
I did hear about that.
Yeah. Even Huckleberry P posted on IG for this. Retweeted, not retweeted. What do you call it? Posting someone else's story on your story. What do you call that?
Retweet, repost.
Yeah, it's retweeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess for the sake, he retweeted Kaogai's diss track because on there, Kaogai talked about how Outsider is taking is not paying for features, taking money from other people's tracks and stuff like that. And Huckleberry P was ripped off by Outsider back in the day.
Wow.
There's a track called Speed Racer where it's basically worldwide choppers where a lot of fast rappers come together on a single track and they all contribute their own verses.
Huh.
It was a really popular track, and very many people on that track were ripped off. They were never paid for their verses, even though the song was very successful. Fana got ripped off. Huckleberry P got ripped off. Marco got ripped off. There's so many people that were ripped off by Outsider, and that's why he's kind of living up to his own name of being the outsider. No one wants to, you know what I mean?
That's tough.
Yeah, if you look at Timey's diss track, it basically is talking about what I just talked about, like how he's not paying for his lessons, blah blah blah. Like he's skiving off of other rappers. Why you're not paying them? Why is everything related money? Like, why is everything money related with you always having problems with everyone that is involved with you? Blah, 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 blah. Like, there's a reason, is what I'm saying.
True.
Yeah, that's why his enemies.
So, then moving on to the second question, I know we touched upon from the musical standpoint. So, staying on top of that, has the style of fast rapping become outdated?
I mean, obviously there are still a lot of fast rappers out there. I guess it's like the matter of how fast do you rap, right? Like BY raps fast, you know, like there are a lot of fast rappers, but guys like Gwangil or, you know, Outsider are just really fast, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I guess it just depends on the speed, and to be honest, like the overall trend definitely has been shifting more to like trend and a bit more of like a tighter, slower rap. But I think fast rap still has its own merits, and some people still definitely do enjoy their music, I think. Yeah. So it's definitely not the major rap style right now, but who knows? It could come back later. Yeah, that's my opinion.
I think the question is a bit self-contradictory in a sense, because we wouldn't be having this conversation if fast rap died.
True.
I mean,
True.
If you look at Jo Gwangil, regardless if you like his music or not, like he's one of those few rappers that really came up to the surface without ever having to go on audition programs or getting some kind of exposure in any kind of media. There is still a demand for fast rap, is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily think his style is the best on this earth, and I did have some problems with his albums, and I don't think like the Acrobat track is necessarily that great.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean that's a discussion for a completely different time. But you can't still hate on it. You can't deny the facts. People like that track. People like that track a lot, and there's a definite demand for it, and that's the reason why he's making views. He had commercials, I think. to be honest. Like, he had commercials with
I had no idea
SKOs.
about that.
Yeah, he had a huge ass commercial, and I think it was he had a huge commercial with a big corporation in Korea. That doesn't happen if fast rap is out of style. That means fast rap is kind of in style. Like, the money talks, the numbers don't lie. Can't front on it. Like, you might have a problem that this is becoming hot, or that this is not what hip hop is supposed to be. But if you're saying that fast rap is going out of style, not necessarily the best, not necessarily the mainstream style, I guess. But if you say like fast rap doesn't have a demand, you're lying. You're flat out lying. Yeah, that's just a lie. So yeah, that's my take. Fast rap has a demand.
I don't think there's like a huge market for fast rap, in my opinion. I would say there is a market for it, but just not as what we're seeing today, you know? And I'm pretty sure in the past there was a big market for it because hip hop wasn't as big in Korea. But now that I think about it, like you guys said, I do agree that there is a market for it, and I think it adds a good value to it because there are rappers out there, like one mentioned, like BY, even Justice,
yes,
who is known to have that speed, but at the same time maintaining and keeping rhythm, you know? So just like you guys touched upon, I think there is a market for it. I think it's just a matter of who and how brings out the best, you know, style of that kind of rap. So from that perspective, I think it adds value to it. I just don't think there's a huge value to it. I don't know if that really is plausible to say, but I think there's a small market for it.
I see what you're talking about. Like, the biggest singles in K-hip hop are the Show Me the Money singles, right?
Yeah.
No one's rapping fast on that. So
no one.
Yeah.
Well, BY
not exactly fast though. Not exactly like fast as like Gwangil though. Like, they have tight verses, but it's not like they're like hyper fast. It's not like they're chopper flow. It's not like they're like really trying to go for speed only, right? No, I see what you're talking about. Yeah.
So I guess to follow up on that question, is there a track that you guys found very effective within the diss tracks that I've listed? And I know that's kind of a weird question to ask, but
the best
we are talking about diss battles.
So it's basically the best ones.
Essentially, or the most effective one, the strong one, I would say.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, they're good, but there were just like certain parts of the diss track that I kind of liked. You know, like for Gwangil, I just liked it. I like Gwangil's diss track the most, Kitsyoji one, because I just felt it was really tight. It was also trendy in a way, and then some of his, I'm sure Daytona, you know, but some of Gwangil's diss track was referring to a like famous webtoon in Korea. Do you know that part? Do you know Daytona?
Famous what?
Famous webtoon in Korea.
Yeah, I know.
This song was like referring to like a really popular webtoon in Korea. So I was like, okay, for one, this guy's like super clever. You know what I mean? When he writes, like
the stuttering flow.
Yeah, the stuttering rap right there. Yeah. So that part, I thought, wow, Gwangil like really knows how to like diss rap too. You know, so that I liked a lot. And then also when Kaogai, like I like Kaogai's lyrics actually, and towards the end, Kaogai was like,
his lyrics are fire.
Yeah, his lyrics are actually really good. You know, in the beginning, I was like, it's a little childish that he started this war like this, but his like lyrics and the punchline, he was like, "Yo, why does Korean hip hop fans care more about ethics than the rap skill?" And I was like, "Yo, you know, that's true. I feel like nowadays people judge the ethical aspect way more than the actual diss raps and the rap skills." You know what I mean? So when he said that, then I was like, "Yeah, sure, that makes sense." What did you guys think about that?
Like, building on Juan's point. There's a tendency when it comes to Korean hip hop. The genre fans really care about the skills, but the people who are just casual fans, and I'm not trying to gatekeep here. I'm just talking about facts here. There's a tendency when there's rappers beefs, that people try to figure out who did something wrong rather than about the actual diss tracks. You know what I mean? Even if the diss track this, if for example rapper A and rapper B is beefing, and rapper A puts out the better diss track, but it turns out that the rapper A was the one who's technically morally wrong, then people side with rapper A. They want to
True.
the people side with rapper B. Sorry, people go with the morally right person instead of the person who put out the better diss track. Is what I'm saying. And Kaogai's track was kind of a commentary on that. He dissed Outsider on that track too, but that track was more of a public service announcement.
I can see that.
Yeah, like, y'all hip hop fans are whack for doing that. Shut the fuck up and this is how you rap, is kind of what Kaogai was saying. And it was a really great track because I don't know if you noticed one, but the hook for that Kaogai track was actually a lyric from Outsider.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he
flipped referencing it. Yeah.
Like that shit. That's one of Outsider's trademark lines, but he flipped that into his own hook.
Oh snap!
Yeah, that was great. That was when I knew, man, that we're in for something great. And then, also moving on, I liked Kitsyoji's track a lot because Kitsyoji's track, like the rhyme scheme, like Kitsyoji had the best rhyme scheme out of all these tracks. Period. Like, I know he uses autotune a lot, and it might not show, but he's a really capable. He's a really capable rapper. There are not many trap rappers that can rhyme like he does. Like, give him a boom bap beat and make him spit a 16, he'll have no problem at all. That's how good his rhyme schemes are. And within that rhyme scheme, he managed to be both hilarious and serious at the same time. And he had a lot of homage lines. Like, he had lyrics from Swings, he had lyrics from Justice, and he flipped it in his own way. Like, it was a really good track. And then there's Gwangil's track, which was great too, because obviously what Juan said about the webtoon homage, that was hilarious. I especially when it comes to Gwangil, because I never thought he would be good at dissing. Like, he's more of the philosophical rapper. He's more about the serious rapper. You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah, and so I thought when it comes to like attacking someone, when it comes to making fun of someone, I never thought he would be very talented in that. But he was talented in that, and I think he really exceeded my expectations for him, and it paid off. It was a really great track, and the tracks that I had problems with was all the other tracks, like people that weren't directly involved kind of tracks.
So like Walo and Yonge JAundice.
Yeah, being completely honest here, those tracks weren't good. Period.
Yeah, I they were pretty bad.
Like, their mixing was terrible. First of all, the mixing on those tracks were outright terrible. If you think that those were good engineered, like those tracks are like good examples in engineering, you're something's wrong with you. They were mixed terribly. Like, the vocals were like swimming in the beat, like it's like, and like, you're putting this out for people to listen to, right? You can mix it properly. It's not like you don't have a company behind you, right? You just got signed to Dippin'Carls. Why aren't your tracks mixed properly? Like, I never got that.
Sure, mixing is important.
Yeah, and it felt kind of forced because they weren't involved technically.
No,
but they kind of dissed because, you know, their label mate was getting dissed. It just seemed like the lyrics and the way they delivered didn't have enough punch. It felt kind of detached. It felt like they weren't really trying to diss him in the first place. It was like they're doing it because they had to, and that is never good in a diss track. Sounding insecure, sounding uninvested in a diss track is the worst choice you can make.
True. If you're gonna add the diss track, you might as well come out with a strong punch, right?
Yeah, you might as well meet it, is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
They didn't have that.
And for me, I must admit, I agree with you guys. Kaogai, to me, had the most effective diss track. And look, if you're part of Chaboom's label, you gotta bring your A game, because we all know Chaboom is a legend in the underground scene. So I kind of sensed that Kaogai was going to be effective out of all the other artists. And then with Outsider, it just, again, it was solid. It wasn't great. You know, I didn't expect a lot, like you guys mentioned, because he's been out of the game for a while. So just hearing him again was cool. But in terms of the lyric side, it felt short compared to the other guys. And I'm being neutral here, you know. I'm not trying to say who's officially better than the other, but from the musical standpoint wise, I thought Kaogai at the end of the day had the strongest track out of all the other guys. But I mean, look, when you diss somebody like Outsider, at least for me, I don't know the whole story because, like I said, I don't know the Korean language too well, so I'm not familiar with everything, and I can't even follow with what Outsider says because it's just way too fast. But I think at the end of the day, at some point, you have to show the respect because it's been a while since we've all seen Outsider. You know, so for Kaogai to just automatically call out Outsider on the spot like that, it was a little bit concerning just because it has been a while, but also, you know, Outsider is a hit or a miss with a lot of people. Yeah. So I think in terms of the respect aspect of it, the ethics of it, I just thought the timing was a bit off. Maybe you could have, if you wanted to really call him out, you know, you could have done it a bit later instead of doing it after the Dingo killing verse. Because I just think it just puts a negative image, not just towards Outsider, but Dingo.
Yeah. Actually, the producer kind of has beef with LBNC now.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because it's been a while since Outsider's been there, and I'm sure people from Dingo likes Outsider, so there's a reason why they brought him onto the killing verse. So from that perspective, it's just, oh man, the timing was just off for me, in my opinion. You could have done it a bit later if you really wanted to, but just to go off right away like that, just for me, I didn't think it was appropriate. Because this has always happened. It's just a matter of that person starting at when, the idea of when are they gonna start the diss, you know? So creating the diss after the Dingo just felt very off-putting for me.
Like, from that, if you're talking about it, if you really think about it though, by the way, I think Dingo officially has beef with LBNC now.
Okay, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, but to be fair about this, LBNC, like especially Kitsyoji, has always been dissing fast rap ever since Gwangil got hot. Before the entire Dingo Outsider thing, because according to Kitsyoji, he thinks that fast rap becoming hot again is kind of regressive for the culture. We're going back to a time where Outsider was the best rapper by in the eyes of the masses. That was what Kitsyoji was feeling, and he put those kind of opinions in songs, like his last EP, Sitcom of the Year, the Layback and Chill freestyle too. Like, he was always putting that shit out there, but no one kind of gave a fuck because he was not as famous as Kaogai is, because Kaogai went to the finals and Show Me the Money, right?
Yeah.
So in a sense, I think this kind of this happening between LBNC and Dippin'Carls and Dingo, it kind of symbolizes something bigger, symbolizes a bigger problem, because it only got hot once someone famous started it. When someone less famous was already talking about it, whether you agreed with it or not, right? So this entire thing is basically happening because the Korean hip hop scene is way too small that people, like rappers, cannot have their own lane. Know what I mean? This all happened, like, in a sense, this was a great diss, like, back and forth and everything. It was technically and artistically very fulfilling for me. But if you look at the general scope of things, this is kind of tragic.
Okay.
Like, none of this would have been a problem if fast rappers, auto-tune rappers, and boom bap rappers and trap rappers, whatever kind of subgenre it is, if they could all establish their own lane because the market was big enough.
True.
Like, you ever seen rapper, like, for example, in the States, have you ever seen rappers this twista because his rap is fast? No, they beef because they have actual problems between themselves.
Exactly.
They don't necessarily beef because some style is getting hotter, and that they're not getting their due. Because everyone, in a sense, while not everyone can be superstars, they kind of can establish their own following and not starve.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to have part-time jobs if you're at least hot in your state. Here, even the hottest rappers sometimes have to work, part-time jobs. Being hot in the underground doesn't mean make you rich. To be point blank, very frank about this, even if you're the hottest rapper on the community, it doesn't do much for your bank account. This was in the larger scale. If you look behind the scenes, this was kind of sad to watch.
It was tough, but I think at the end of the day, it's everyone's personal opinion, their own perspective. So whether or not you like the diss or not, I think if that's how they really feel, then I think it's important to express it.
Yep.
So I don't know. I'm neutral on this whole diss battle between the two because I myself am fairly new to both labels, and I'm not that great in Korean language, so some of the verses were confusing, or I had no idea what they were talking about. But from my standpoint, I view this as a neutral battle. So I don't have one person or the other, but since today's topic was all about from the musical standpoint, I really thought that Kaogai's diss track overall was the most effective, just because it had the right balance. It was more complete, I would say, compared to the other diss tracks.
To you, it felt like a very well-crafted song, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it almost actually didn't feel like a diss track. It almost actually felt like a song that you would want to put in your album.
Yeah, I can see that.
Maybe he prepared
like that
for a long time. Yeah.
Hey, to be honest, I hope he can put that song on one of his albums because I really liked it. I really enjoyed it, even though I am neutral on this battle.
I see that happening. It's not like they apologize to each other or anything, so I see it happening.
True.
I mean, LBNC
is were better than the Show Me the Money stages.
Yeah, of course. Like, to be honest, if you look at Show Me the Money diss tracks, it's like they're really not trying to diss each other that bad. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, it's for the show, so it's understandable, but it's, of course, you won't get the control this kind of I'm gonna kill you kind of diss tracks on Show Me the Money. So yeah, definitely. This was a really all out, there's no exceptions, I'm trying to end your career kind of thing. And It's been a while since we've seen that. So that was great.
All right, well, we hope nothing but the best for both labels and Outsider moving forward. So, as we slowly begin to wrap up our show, guys, is there an artist that you guys are currently listening to and would like to share or recommend one song to our listeners?
Yes, I'll go first. Mush, Venom, and Justice recently released a track together called Take It. I believe the music video was released like just a day ago. And, it's really catchy. Like, I never expected Mush, Venom, and Justice to get along so well. But the chemistry is fire, the music video is fire, and the song itself is just super catchy. So Take It by Mush, Venom, and Justice. Go check it out.
That's a great choice.
Yes.
All right. Moving on, guys. It's my turn. I would like to recommend Lil Tachi's Forever Zero from his new album, Forever Young.
Great album.
Obviously, it's a wordplay because young, like zero, is pronounced young in Korean, so it's like it's kind of a double entendre right there. It features Unofficial Boy and Kid Millie. Kid Millie does a verse, and Unofficial Boy is on the hook. and it's just a great track. It's like the album has banger after banger after banger, but this is the opening one, and there's this really sparse trap beats with super clean mixing and great hook by Unofficial Boy and Lil Tachi always showing off his very flashy style. Great verse, great hook, great beat, which makes a great song. So definitely go and check it out. Yeah.
For sure. We'll definitely check that out.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I went a different route. So I chose a song called Overthink by Shindrum, and it features Sam Kim. And this song is off of Shindrum's full-length album called Who I Am, which dropped this year. And I know our podcast focuses a lot on K-hip-hop, but for me lately, I chose this song because it has it's an R&B vibe to it. But also at the same time, I really liked Sam Kim's vocals on this track. It's very calm, melodic, and the title itself, Overthink, really resonates with me a lot, especially with the pandemic that's going on and people are just staying home. And I really think our mental health is beginning to become affected by it. And for me, especially dealing with anxiety and mental health and depression, listening to the song is really uplifting and very encouraging to hear. So, and I know for a fact, Shindrum is an upcoming producer and also a great drummer. So I would definitely recommend this song to everybody.
Yeah.
Nice.
Shindrum is definitely a producer to look out for.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. But please do comment and let us know what you think of this whole diss battle. Do you think the style of fast rap is outdated? And once again, I just want to say thank you so much for the continuous support. And as always, please go and subscribe to our podcast. And for more amazing contents, please visit and follow our social media pages at Seoul_therapy. Again, that's Seoul, SCOUL_therapy. Thank you and see you guys next time. Peace.